Okay, this video is going to be about comparison operators. We just talked about Boolean operators, and comparison operators return Boolean values. Okay, we're going to start with numeric comparison operators. And remember, Boolean values, these are the primitives. They're true, false. Okay, so again, I've made a file called comparisonOperators.js. That's a JavaScript file. To run it using Node.js, the command is node and then the name of the file, comparison operators. Alright. So you should be familiar with all of these from your math courses. The less than operator, it's this symbol. Okay. It's a binary operator, which means it takes a left-hand side and a right-hand side, and it returns true if the first operand is less than the second. Okay. So 5 is less than 4. That should be false. 5 is greater than 4. 5 is less than 5. That should be false because it's not less than 5. It's the same. 5 is less than 6. That one should be true. Okay. So again, this is numeric comparison operators, and here's integers, and here's decimals. In JavaScript, integers and decimals are all the same data type. In other languages, there's all sorts of different complicated data types. JavaScript kind of keeps things simple, but you have to be careful because it will change the data type for you as needed, but sometimes that's not what you want. And again, that gets back into coercion. We mentioned that in the last lecture. Okay, so here's 100.3 is less than 100.2. That should be false. 100.3 is less than 100.3. That should be false. 100.3 is less than 100.4. That one should be true. Alright, so let's run it. Node comparisonOperators.js. So false, false, true. False, false, true. Okay, real simple. It's less than. Everyone knows that. Greater than. It's binary operator, returns true if the first operator is greater than the second. It's operand. That's where copy and paste will get you. I copied and pasted this from over there, so these are all going to be wrong. Alright, so this is greater than. Everyone knows what this is. 5 is greater than 4, that should be true. 5 is greater than 5, that should be false. They're the same. 5 is greater than 6, that should be false. Okay, so we're gonna have true, false, false. Same over here. Again, copy and paste error. So be careful with your copy and paste. If you know you copied and pasted some stuff and then there was an error in the original, just make sure you change it in all the places you copy and paste it. It's a very common thing that happens. So just be aware of that. Alright, let's go ahead and run this. True, false, false. True, false, false. Right, that's greater than. So then, this is still pretty obvious. It's just like your math courses, except the operator for less than or equal to, instead of the less than sign with a line under it, it's less than sign followed by an equals sign. Okay, so less than or equals to is the operator you use when you're writing your JavaScript expression. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory. Is 5 less than or equal to 4? That's false. Is 5 less than or equal to 5? True. Is 5 less than or equal to 6? True. Okay, and then same with the decimal example. Alright, false, true, true. False, true, true. That's less than or equal to. And I assume you remember from school to remember which way the arrow goes. You can think of it as an alligator mouth, and the alligator always wants to eat the bigger one. That's how I learned it anyway. I don't know. All right, greater than or equal to. Again, pretty self-explanatory. The operator is greater than, and then an equals sign. All right. Is 5 greater than or equal to 4? True, true, false. True, true, false. Okay, equality operator. Again, pretty self-explanatory. It's just like the Boolean equality operator, except we're using numbers, okay? And the result is a Boolean. Does 5 equal 4? That should be false. Does 5 equal 5? That should be true. And does 5 equal 6? That should be false. Okay. And you never want to use this with decimals, for the most part, unless you're absolutely certain what you're doing. And this gets back into the computer stores everything in binary, and so you get it, like with the decimal system, we get repeating decimals, like 0.3333 repeating is 1/3. In binary, you have a different set of repeating decimals, and so you get strange behavior a lot of times because it'll round a repeating decimal that's not necessarily a repeating decimal in base 10. Okay, so I'll show you this example. If you're absolutely certain that the decimal values are not being calculated, then you can use equality, the equality operator with decimals. But if you're calculating the decimal, don't use it. You'll get into trouble. Okay, so first I'll show you, since we're using specific values, we know exactly the value we're typing out here. It's 100.4. Right? We're not calculating any values. These are called literals. It's literally written in the code what the value is. It's not calculated. Okay, so we can use triple equals with literals, which is no calculated values. Okay, so here the only one is the one in the middle. That's the only one that's true. 5 equals 5 is true. 100.3 equals 100.3. Okay, so here's an example of why you never use it with decimals. Okay, here's real simple. 100.3. I'm storing that value in x, creating a variable y, and storing this expression, the result of this expression. So JavaScript calculates this expression, reduces it down to a single value, and then stores that in y. So basic math would tell us 100.4 minus 0.1 should be 100.3. Alright? And we'll print out each of the variables and then the equality and see what we get. Okay, so since y was a calculation, the binary version had some repeating decimals and it rounded it. And it rounded to 0.0000 blah 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 1. Okay, so it's not quite 100.3. So this just gets into how JavaScript stores the data. It stores it binary and performs all the mathematical operations in binary and then translates it back to decimal. Okay, so never use triple equals with decimals that have been calculated. And there's our copy paste error again. All right. The last numeric comparison operator is not equals. Again, it's the not sign, which is exclamation point, and then 2 equals. Okay, so we always use triple equals. Don't use double equals. It has a specific purpose, but you almost universally never want to use double equals. So the not equal operator for double equals is just not in a single equal sign. Okay. So for the same reason, we never use double equals. We always use triple equals. For that same reason, we use not equal equal. Okay, so it's 3 characters, just like triple equals. Alright, and this is pretty self-explanatory. 5 does not equal 4. That should be true. 5 does not equal 5. That's false because they do equal. 5 does not equal 6. That should be true. Okay, and again, you never use these with decimals for the same reason. Okay, so 5 does not equal 4, 5 does not equal 5, that one's false. Pretty standard. Okay, so now let's do string comparison. So all this was numeric comparison, number values. So string comparison, this also returns a Boolean value. These are all part of Boolean expressions. Okay, so okay. So now all of these on console.logging, more or less just so you see console.log a lot and you remember how to use it. But this is a string value for the first argument. Then I have a comma, and this is the second value. Alright, now notice these backslashes here. It's because I want this quote character to display. So I start the string with a quote character, and if I just typed another quote character, JavaScript would say, hey, that's the end of your string literal. Right? That's not what I want. I use the escape character backslash to tell it, no, I definitely want this character in the string. So I'm not ending the string here, this is part of the string. Okay, then I type hello, escape, a quote. Okay, so that's what these backslashes are. That's an escape character for a string. It's backslash. And there are several characters you'll want to escape, including a quote, or a backslash itself. If I type backslash, JavaScript is going to say, okay, he's escaping. This is an escape character. But then you say, no, I actually want to use the backslash. It's similar to an HTML. To do the less than sign, you have to use the escape sequence. Okay, it's a fairly common paradigm in programming. All right. So let's take a look at these. Hello equals hello. That should be true. Hello equals hello with a capital H should be false because it's case sensitive. Dog equals doghouse should be false. True, false, false. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at this. We're creating a variable A. And we're putting the string value foo inside of it. Creating a variable B and putting the string value foo inside of it. Creating a variable C and putting the value of A, which should be foo. And then D is bar. Okay, so print this out. It's exactly what we'd expect. Foo, 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 and bar. Now if we compare these, we're going to say A, does A equal B? Does A equal C? And does A equal D? So it does equal B, C, right? Because they're both foo. And it does not equal D. Okay, so again, this is the operator, triple equals, left-hand side, And then the right hand side are the operands. We got B compared to C. That should be true. B compared to D. B equals D and C equals D should both be false. True, false, false. Okay. And then the last one is not equals. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's the inverse of the triple equals. It's the inverse of the equality operator. Alright, so whatever we got up here for all of these values, we should get the opposite here. So we got true, true, false, true, false, false. So we should get false, false, true, false, true, true. And again, it's important to note that this is the same as negating the an equality expression. Okay, so an equality expression, does A equal B? That's true. So if I do the not equals operator, that's false. So this should be the same as using the equality operator and then putting this in parentheses and negating the whole thing with the not operator. These should both be the same. A equals B and then the opposite of that. Okay, so they're both correct. Alright, so that's basic comparison operators.